hits and runs.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Fraser Field for yet another season, starting here on Channel 15 and 36 if you have Verizon. Link Glasgow will open it up, taking on Mascomomet in a non-league game, and you look out, bright sunny day, big blue skies, puffy white clouds, and it's about 12 degrees. It is freezing. The wind is blowing like 80 miles an hour. David Barnard on the mound for Glasgow. In for a strike. Jack Seymour, the center fielder, is the leadoff hitter for Masco. Up and in for a ball. Veteran team for Glasgow. They lost a couple of very good players. They lost their leadoff hitter Tyler Way, and a very good hitter pitcher, Mr. Newton. But they've got a few key players back, and they're being selected by some of the people as good pitch on the outside corner by Bernard for strike three. They're being selected by a lot of the coaches in the NEC as a threat to win the conference. They won it last year. They went undefeated through the Northeastern Conference, and the Northeast Conference come up and bid them because Marblehead was the first team to play them in the tournament, and Marblehead knocked them off as Patrick Costigan grounds out Burt to Tayshawn Anderson covering. 2 up, 2 down for Masco. Down and away for a ball. Nice stop. I see a Carrero. David Barnard was the ace for Glasgow last year. Missing wide for a ball. And as usual over at Manning Field, action, probably practicing track, getting ready for the season. Slicing it foul off to the right, it goes down in that grassy knoll behind first base. We have a few very brave fans in the stands. Up and away for a ball. So David Barnard falls behind Andrew Manny. He's the shortstop for Masco. Hit high in the air behind home plate. He's got room. No, he doesn't have room. It's up on the screen. Looked for a minute like it was going to be in play for Carrero. And we got our first full count. We just had a discussion with the head coach of Fisher College who plays here, and he was saying they've already played 32 games all over the country. That one hits him, so it'll be a hit batter. So Masco has a base runner with 2 outs. David Hunter, the pitcher, will be the hitter. Throw over, almost got him. Nice stop by the catcher on a pitch down the way. He's a Carrero. The runner got a big jump, nowhere near. No chance at all to throw him out. He got a huge jump at first base. Well, Masco has the first runner in scoring position here in the top of the first with 2 outs. Missing down and away. In for a strike. Hunter taking all the way. In for a strike again. Hunter started to take off to first base thinking he was going to be on. So the payoff pitch up and coming. The runner takes off. It's fouled behind home plate. Manny at second base was off and running with the pitch. And he would have had third base stolen. Chop very slowly. Bird's going to have to hurry. And he called him safe, and the runner scores. The flip to first. Hunter gets an infield hit and gets an RBI. Great hustle by Manny coming around and scoring from second base. He wasn't going on the pitch that time. So when a ball hit about 50 feet from home plate, Hunter gets an RBI. Burt got to it. No wasted motion. A little underhand flip to Anderson, and Hunter just beat it. So the hit batsman and the stolen base pay off. Ah, that gets off the catcher's glove. The pass ball will move the runner up. Off the glove of Carrero inside. And another runner in scoring position for Masco. So 2 quick outs, but then a hit batsman, a stolen base, and the infield hit turns into a run for Mascomomet. So a little 2-out lightning for Masco. Hit on the ground to short. Knocked down at first. The throwing error is going to bring another run in. Hurton will reach. The throw is in the dirt. Anderson couldn't scoop it. So the error brings in a run on the throw. Again, good hustle from second base, scoring. So double 2-out lightning for Mascomomet. The runner takes off. Stolen base off the glove of Carrero. Couldn't handle it. So again, with 2 outs, they have a runner in scoring position. Both times they've brought the runner home. Stolen base the first time, pass ball the second time. Now another stolen base. Good pitch by David Barnard for a strike. The runner takes off. He hesitated. He wasn't going to go, and then he realized that David Barnard didn't look him back. He just went through with the windup. So Ritten steals third. He started to go, hesitated because he looked like he was going to be a dead duck, and then David Barnard just went through with the windup, and that allowed him to steal third base. Swing and a miss. So Mike Sukowski will have a little bit of discussion with his team after this half inning. Up and away for a ball. And we got another full count. Pitching from the stretch with the runner at third. Chop foul, and we'll do it again. That's going to be a base hit. Just over the shortstop's head, just reaching, a little poke. Alex Zenas gets an RBI. So that 2-out lightning continues. It's now trifecta. 2-out lightning. Again, 2 quick outs. The hit batsman cost him a stolen base. A little slow ground ball to second and went beaten for an infield hit with the run scoring. A pass ball, an errant throw from short in the dirt. Line right to the shortstop. They finally get out of the inning. Mascomomet sends 7 to the plate. They put 3 on the board. One of the runs was earned, 2 unearned, but Masco will take them. 2 hits in the inning. A strikeout and a hit batsman. The hit batsman was the big play. It extended the inning. From there, it was the infield hit, the error, and then the base hit. And even Kravacarat hit that ball right on the nose, but hit it right to the shortstop, Luciano. So they send 7 to the plate. 3 of them score, 2 hits, and have given David Hunter a 3-run advantage. For Glasgow will be Christian Burt, second baseman leading off, playing shortstop and batting second. A.J. Luciano. The left fielder, Sean Devon, bats third. Pitching and batting fourth, David Barnard. The first baseman, Deshaun Anderson, hits number 5. Playing right field and batting sixth, Brett Buckland. The catcher, Cesar Carrero, bats number 7, batting 8th and playing right field, playing center field, Kevin Durant. And the third baseman, Danny Lilja, brings up the tail end of the batting order. 8 of those players saw considerable action. Most of them were starters last year. So a lot of experience coming back for the Rams. And I didn't ask. I should have. I didn't ask Mike Zukowski if he got out at all. He may have just been practicing in the gym, so this might be his first time out. But the wind is really tough today, but looking out at the field is just, you'd never imagine the field would be like this with all the snow and the rain and the horrible weather. I mean, all those storms in March and April. I was here not that long ago when the field was totally covered in snow. And the park department, the NDC people did a terrific job. I guess Fisher College helped out as well, clearing away the snow and getting it ready. Not that big a problem in the infield because you could actually plow or brush the infield and get the snow off because it's turf. But you can't do it in the outfield because if you plow or brush its grass, you'll dig into it and create deep holes. Christian Burt needs it off. He's already made his decision. He's going to go to Salem State, right next door. Way up and in. Following a long line of Burts that have played all kinds of sports here in Lynn. And, of course, the latest, Katie Burt, the outstanding goaltender. She's a great story. She's graduating from BC, and she really should be a junior in college because when she was a youngster in prep school, as a junior, they asked her if she could accelerate her course and graduate early. She went during the summer, she accelerated her course, graduated virtually a year early, and was actually a high school senior playing in the national championship game for Boston College. And she set all kinds of records now at Boston College for goalie. And one day I believe you're going to see her in net for the Olympics. Terrific young lady, great athlete. High and tight, the count goes full. So Christian, a long line of Burts. Coaches and players. Ball four, good at bat by Burt. His grandfather was an outstanding coach, Pup Warner, football. A.J. Luciano, the shortstop, is the hitter. Masco trailing at 3-0. Masco got 3 in the top of the inning, but long way to go. On the inside corner for a strike. Swing and a miss. Waved at that pitch for 1-1. Or 0-2, I guess. First was a call strike. Burt getting a short lead at first base. Slicing it down the right field line. It's going to slice foul down in that bullpen area. Up and away for a ball. Good waste pitch by Hunter trying to get Luciano to chase. Swing and a miss. The batter is out. He can't go. Burke can go to second. Hitter is out. This is a nice time for some of the fans. The Navigators haven't come to play yet, and they haven't been here. And while we're at it, we'd like to say our well wishes go out to Mr. Terlecki, the general manager of the Navigators. He's a little under the weather. I guess he's out of the hospital, and that's a good sign. We hope he's going to recover. He's an outstanding gentleman, does a great job. He gets involved in a lot of stuff in the city. He's had some health issues, and we wish him the very best. Our thoughts and our prayers go out to him. Jared DiFilippo is running for Bird at second base. But getting back to the fans, the Navigators eventually will put up their signs of the sponsors. It'll cover the entire fence out in the outfield. So there is no room to be out there and watch the game when the signs are up. You can't see because the signs block your view. But with no signs up, you see a lot of cars parked right up against the fence, right field, left field, and people can sit in their car now and watch the game and stay warm with the ice cold weather. So they're happy that the Navigator signs are not up yet. And they hope when they do get up, the weather will be a lot warmer. Down and away for a ball. Looked like Hunter took something off. Sean Devon, left field, had a good year for the hockey team. The Jets, the combined hockey team, they had a very good year. High and tight. Missing again, down and away. We're looking at the screen in front of us. The wind blows, and the screen looks like it's going to blow away the backstop. In for a strike. And the batter's eye, we call it out in center field, the big black screen out there that fluttering around. They had to replace that this year because it blew away last year. Strike three called on the outside corner. Back-to-back strikeouts by David Hunter. David Barnard can't help himself get back a little bit closer. They're down 3-0. He's got a runner in scoring position with 2 outs. Masco did all their damage with 2 outs. Up and away for a ball. It took a little too much time, but I stepped out on him. Swing and a miss. Swing and a miss again. 1-2 the count. Pitcher against pitcher. Wide for a ball. And we got our first deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Swing and a miss. He gets him 3 straight strikeouts. So he walked the leadoff batter. Strikes out the next 3. Impressive start for Hunter. We played an inning in this season opener. Masco leading it 3-0 over Classical. Top of the second. Cody Amori, the left fielder, will lead it off for Masco. Swing and a miss. Two quick strikes. Good fastball. David Barnard. Yeah, the waste pitch, they set up outside, went too far outside. Murray laid off. Down and in. Popped up. Burt had it and dropped it. He went one step out in the outfield grass. Easy pickings, and he just went off the heel of his glove and he dropped it. Second error for Classical. Gives Masco the leadoff hitter on. The other half of the Hunter family, Will Hunter, the second baseman, will be the hitter. And then back to the top of the order. Squaring away, they take the pitch, throw it, bounces off the second baseman. So they're 3 for 3 in stolen bases. And again, they have a runner in scoring position at second base. Hit to third. They look the runner back. They throw him out at first, and they double him up at third. Nice job. Lilia to Anderson to Lilia. The double play. So two-way. Amori took off after the throw to first, and Deshaun Anderson threw a bullet back to Lillier at third for the easy put-out. Jack Seymour led off the ball game, being called out on strikes. So this time the error doesn't hurt. The base runner was wiped out on the base pass. Hit foul again off to the opposite side, the third base side, by the left-handed hitter. Masco brought a few fans, parents, sitting out there, braving the cold weather. We had better days for football. Check swing foul. Off-speed pitch and a beauty, the breaking ball. Pulled the string and dropped it on the outside corner. Second strikeout, winds up facing only three, even with the error. He gets Seymour for the second time looking. Masco was down in the top of the second. And we'll move into the bottom half of the second inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for Classical as they try to do something about this 3-0 deficit. Once again, this will be the, last year was the inaugural, this will be the second year with the 16-team Northeastern Conference with Everett, Malden, Somerville, Medford coming into the league. They've gone through the league now in hockey, and they played some games. They played last year, obviously, in baseball. They played some games before that in interleague. The only thing they're not playing is one team, Everett, in football, is not playing a Northeastern Conference schedule. That was part of the deal, getting those 4 teams that were left in the Greater Boston League. It used to be a great league, Greater Boston League, with Cambridge and Waltham and Arlington, and it dwindled down to those 4. And they asked to come into the conference, and they agreed with the understanding that everybody would come in. They would play all the sports, male and female, with one exception, that nobody wanted to play Everett in football. So Everett went out and got an independent schedule. They may want to start playing Everett now that John DiBiaso, their coach, has moved over to Catholic Memorial, taking some of his players with him. But it was a feast or a famine last year. Some coaches liked it, some coaches didn't. You had Classical winning the conference undefeated, but they only had to play Peabody once. They didn't play Danvers. Peabody was upset. They wanted another shot at Classical, didn't get it. So some of the coaches liked the idea that 16 teams, you don't have to go out and get that many outside games. Other coaches didn't like the fact that you're only playing the crossover teams once, or some of the teams even in your league only once. Check swing foul off the bat of Deshaun Anderson. So it's got to be the biggest league in the state, 16 teams, north and south. And once again, the team to beat in the Northeastern Conference overall is Danvers. They're still loaded each and every year with Coach Roger Day. They have a great program over there, youth program, Little League teams are always very good. Swing and a miss on an off-speed pitch. Hunter took a little too much time, and Anderson asked for time and got it. High and tight. A little chin music to Deshaun Anderson. I guess that track practice is over. They're now going to have a lacrosse game over there at Manning Field. So that place is going almost 7 days a week. Swing and a miss. 4 straight strikeouts for Hunter after a leadoff walk. But Buckland, he'll get some duty on the mound this year. Hit in the air to center field. Coming on, making a play at Seymour. That breaks the streak of 4 straight strikeouts. Buckland and Barnard and Durant, Burt, all those guys were members of the Babe Ruth team that went to the Nationals last year. Hit on the ground. Little off hop. Manny with a good strong throw to first. 6 in a row retired by Hunter after the leadoff walk. 3 up, 3 down for Classical in the second. We played 2 full here at Frazier Field in this opening interleague game. Masco 3, Link Classical nothing. Patrick Costigan leads it off. He's 0 for 1 against Bernard. He grounded out second and first. Foul back. 1-1 to the Masco catcher. High and away for a ball. Masco is one of those rare schools that chose to play Everett in football. And it gave them a big piece of their history. This past year, they played at Fenway Park. Foul tip held on to by Carrero. Everett can't get a full schedule. They only had 5 games last year. They got 6 this year. They're still missing a game. Foul back. Count stays even at 2. And I remember all the coaches used to say, we want to play the best, because if we play the best, we get better. Reaches for that and fouls it back. Again, a bright sunny day, big puffy clouds, big blue skies, and the wind's 80 miles an hour. makes it extremely cold here at Frazier Field. Hit foul again. Costigan hanging around, making David Barnard throw some pitches. Off-speed pitch, just hung up. Looked good after a goodbye home plate, but it sailed high. Didn't miss by much. That's a tough pitch to take with 2 strikes. The payoff pitch up and coming. Hit foul again. Costigan is wearing David Barnard out. He's fouled off 5 or 6 pitches. Here's another foul off to the third base side. We're running out of baseballs. That hit him. So it's a hit batsman. That's a great at bat by Costigan. He just kept fouling pitches off until he gets on base. And for the second inning in a row, Masco has the leadoff hitter on, and they lead it 3-0 already. I mentioned the second hit batsman. The first one is Andrew Manny, who's in the batter's box now. He got hit by the pitch and wound up, he was the one that scored. He stole second and hustled around from second on the slow ground ball that turns into an infield hit by the pitcher Hunter with 2 outs. Swing and a miss. And that started a 3-run rally with 2 outs by Masco. The hit batsman, the hit, the error, and the hit got them their 3-0 lead. They're worried about the runner going. They're 3 for 3 in stolen bases. Now Carrera wants to talk to his pitcher. Short lead at first. The runner takes off. The throw down. Not in time. They're 4 for 4. Missing wide for a ball. A little hesitation on the form of David Barnard trying to hold that runner close at second base. Now spinning, holding on, not throwing, but again trying to keep that runner close. Costigan getting a lot of attention. Swing and a miss. She chased that pitch that was up and away. Well, David Barnes got his third strikeout, 1 in each inning. The pitcher, David Hunter, he's the one that hit that little slow ground ball to second base. He beat it for a base hit. The runner from second, Manny, scored. And then Hunter went to second, a pass ball, and he scored. on an infield error. And then the infield error stole second and scored on a 2-out hit. Everything coming with 2 outs, getting them 3 runs, and that's where we are, 3-0 Masco here in the top of the third. That one breaks down and in for a ball. Missing low for a ball. Started to pull the trigger, held up, and was down and away for ball 4. First walk given up. David Barnard. Hunter's on for the second time. Jack Hurton, the third baseman, he reached on an infield error. He hit it to short, and the throw was a little bit in the turf. I can't say dirt because it's turf in the infield. And they couldn't handle the ball at first base. And the runner from second scored. And then he stole second base and scored on a base hit. Lined out at second. They double it off. That was bang, bang at second base. Luciano got it very quickly. Brett got to the bag, and they double up the runner. So the hit pass from the walk don't hurt. We'll move into the bottom half of the third. Classical needs to go to work. They had the leadoff walk in the first, and Hunter has retired 6 in a row after that. 4 in a row by strikeout. So it'll be 8, 9, and 1 for Classical as we start the third inning. Neither one of these teams using an extra hitter. So, interleague to start us off. Northeastern Conference against Cape Ann. Mike Zukowski, the head guy for Classical, getting to be one of the gendarmes of long-time coaching in the Northeastern Conference. He's been around for a while. Does an outstanding job. Kevin Durant will lead it off. He was the right fielder last year with Tyler Way playing center, and now he's moved over to center field. Squaring like he's going to bunt. Third baseman came in a little close, backed up. Takes the pitch high for a ball. In for a strike. I mentioned he was part of the Babe Ruth program that last year won the New Englands, playing right here at Frazier Field, winning the New Englands. Going on to the Nationals. Dropped over the head of the pitcher. Good hustle. The other half of the Hunter family, the second baseman, made a nice play going in quickly, getting it over to the first baseman, Grover Carrot. So 1 up, 1 down in the third. Danny Lilia, the third baseman, hitting from the left side. In for a strike. Good fastball by Hunter. Missing wide for a ball. High and tight over the head of Lilia. Missing down and in. 3-1 the count to the Ram third baseman. And that's ball 4. So it ends a streak of 7 in a row retired. Hunter issues his second walk of the game. The first walk was Burt, the second baseman. He was, I don't know, for some reason, Jared DiFilippo went in to run for Burt, and now DiFilippo stays in the game. I thought he went in just to run. I don't know. Burt wound up going to second base on the strikeout that got away from the catcher. And Jared DiFilippo went in to run for him, and now DiFilippo stays in the game. So I don't know if Burt got hurt. That's not the real good move. That's just a little lob toss. They're hoping you think that's the good move, so you get a little further off the bag, and then they make the good move and pick you off. Nice stop by the catcher. Costigan bounced in front of him. In for a strike. This is DiFilippo's first at bat. Only a sophomore. Long pause by Hunter. Down and away for a ball. We mentioned a veteran team. Half the team, 9 of the 18 players on the roster for the varsity of classical are seniors. Waves at that pitch for strike 3. High and tight. No, really high and tight. He got a piece of Luciano. So 2 on with 2 outs for Sean Devon, who was called out on strikes. Lilia becomes the second classical player to reach second base. Burt got there with a walk and a strikeout that got away from the catcher. And that's been it until now. They got 2 on with 2 out. Waves at that pitch. Way inside, pushes Devon off the plate. Trot out in front of the plate. Hunter gets to it quickly and throws Devon out. So Classical threatens with a walk on a hit batsman, but it came with 2 outs. And for the 3rd inning in a row, Classical is shut out. And at the end of 3, it's Masco 3, Link Classical nothing. Swing and a miss. Alex Zenas punched a little single over the shortstop's head for an RBI in the 1st inning, knocking in the 3rd run. High for a ball. High for a ball again. 2-1. 6, 7, and 8 for Masco here in the 4th inning. Hit way up in the air to the right side. Circling. That ball was going to the second baseman. To show you about the wind, it was right to the second baseman, and Deshaun Anderson wound up catching it about 8 feet foul down the right field line. It kept blowing away from everybody. That's a nice play by Anderson to stay with that. In for a strike. T. Filippo thought he had a play on that pop-up when it was first hit. They checked with first base umpire. It didn't swing, so it's a ball. He was all set to catch that pop-up, and Anderson wound up way out in foul territory behind first base making the play. Swing and a miss. Chased that one down and in. Barnhart stepped off. Line to center field. Durant is there to make the play. Couple of steps to his right. Hit fairly solidly, but Durant's able to make the play. 2 up, 2 down. Cody Amori reached on an error, stole second, and it got thrown out when he tried to go from second to third on a ground ball throw out from third to first. He was gunned down. A nice play by, good throw by Anderson, nice tag by Lilia at third. Lilia started the play with the ground out, throwing the hitter out at first. That's in the gap and right center field coming over. Off the glove. Great try. That looked like it was going to be an easy base hit. But Buckland almost made the play. He got over there, dove, just deflected off his glove. He almost made a great play. Amori's on for the second time. And Will Hunter will be the hitter. He's grounded out. He grounded into that double play. Grounding out third to first, and the runner being thrown out at third. In for a strike. Top of the order on deck. The runner takes off, lined in the center field for a base hit. Buckland gets it back quickly. Being on the move, Amori goes all the way to third. So first and third for Jack Seymour, who's been up twice and was called on strikes twice. He's the leadoff hitter for Masco. The runner takes off. They throw it down. They don't get him. 5 for 5 in stolen bases, Masco. So second and third, they takes off the force at second on a ground ball. Masco looking for some more 2-out lightning. High for a ball. On the inside corner for a strike. Just a little bit high. And we got deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Here in the top of the 4th inning. Get a piece and fouled it to the backstop. And we'll do it again. And it gets a little bit cooler now as that sun goes down. But the fans are hanging around. Hit in the air. Shortstop. Drop the ball. That's the second pop-up that's been dropped. Four runs, 3 of them unearned. 5 runs as they hustled the runner from second, scored as well. Third error Second drop pop-up. The other pop-up didn't hurt. This one really hurts. Instead of being out of the inning, Masco's got 2 runs in. And the runner takes off. In with another stolen base. Six for 6 in stolen bases. Patrick Costigan has grounded to second and got hit by a pitch. Missing wide for a ball. Inside and tight, it's 2-1. Stepping off, trying to hold that runner close at second base. Good pitch on the outside corner for a strike. And we got Deuces Wild again. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runs in. Line to the left center field for a base hit. The runner's going to score. Almost a videotape replay of the first inning. 3 more runs again. 2 out Lightning. 2 easy outs. A hit and an error. The pop-up drop really cost Glasgow. Instead of being out of the inning, no run scored, the pop-up is dropped, and it winds up with 3 runs being scored. And let's see if they try to steal second base to make it 7 for 7. Andrew Manny got hit by a pitch and scored. Last time up, he struck out swinging. The runner goes. 7 for 7. They got 3 in the first after 2 outs. They've got 3 here in the fourth after 2 outs. Swing and a miss. A little soft tap of the first in the first inning along with an error. And a third out pop-up that would have got him out of the inning is dropped. And instead of being up at bat now trying to eat into that 3-0 lead, they're still out in the field trying to end the fourth inning with 3 runs scored by Masco. Swing and a miss for strike 3. He gets Manny for the second time. That's a tough inning for David Barnard. He should have been out of it with no runs. Instead, Masco gets 3 more. They did get 3 hits, but the error was the big play. They were out of the inning if the pop-up is caught. He keeps his record intact. He's got a strikeout in each of the first 4 innings. So that hole gets a lot deeper for Classical as we move into the bottom of the 4th inning with the score now 6-0 in favor of Masco. Classical still looking for their first hit. They've only had 3 base runners, 2 walks and a hit batsman. Another tough year here for baseball and softball. Snow on the ground for a long time. Big storms in March into April. Teams not being able to get outside virtually at all. A little bit the last week, but everything was done inside. The only team that reaps the harvest is St. John's Prep. They have an entire turf field. And the turf field they can brush it off, and so they got to get outside a lot early, even though it was cold. They got to get outside. Some of the teams didn't get outside at all. They've got outfields. They don't know if they can catch a fly ball because they weren't able to hit any fly balls. Can't do that in the gym. Few of them have batting cages where they can hit, but even the pitches, you pitch in the gym, you're on flat surface, you're not up on the mound. Totally different. Bottom of the 4th, it'll be 4, 5, and 6 for Classical. David Barnard, Deshaun Anderson, Brett Buckland. David Barnard struck out swinging. High for a ball. Wide for a ball, 2-0. Tough day for the players. The guys on the bench are wrapped up in sweatshirts and blankets. The fielders have to go out there and somehow try to stay warm. In case the ball's hit you got to make plays. Taking all the way with a count 3-0. It's in for a strike, 3-1. Down in front of us now is Eastern Connecticut. The team coming in, they're going to play Fisher College later on after this game. Good luck to them when the sun goes down. Foul tip held on to by Costigan, the catcher. And Hunter comes back to run the count full after being down 3-0. The payoff pitch hit foul back and out of play. Hit slowly on the ground, cut off by the third baseman. Safe at first, he beat it. Just a little, I have to say turf cutter, I can't say grass cutter. Just a little tap that rolled to third. David Bernard beats it out. That's the first hit for Classical. Second time they've had the leadoff hitter on. They had the leadoff hitter on in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss. Deshaun Anderson struck out swinging his first trip. Good fastball on the inside corner. It's 0-2. So not only does Eastern Connecticut have to play in the very cold weather tonight against Fisher, they get here early and have to sit in the stands for 3 more innings and freeze. High for a ball. Deshaun Anderson choked up on the bat. Asks for time and gets it. It's straight up in the air. Catcher calls everybody off, and he makes the play. That's a nice job. He went out, turned around, faced home plate, so he wouldn't be chasing the ball. The ball came to him. That's a nice play by the catcher, Costigan. He was surrounded by the pitcher, third baseman, first baseman. So 1 away, but Buckland flied out to center field. Missing inside off the catcher's glove. No place for Bernard to go with the score 6-0. Good breaking ball for a strike. Missing wide for a ball. 2-1 the count to the Ram right fielder. Good fastball for a strike. Evens the count at 2. Hit up the middle into center field for a base hit. Station to station as David Bernard goes to second base. Well, Buckland's hit it well both times. Cesar Carrero grounded out short to first. There's 1 trip. Nice stop by the catcher. The pitch was down and in. Costigan with a nice play. On the corner for a strike. line. Nice play by the second baseman. That was hooking away from him. And Will Hunter helped Brother David with that little spear. And luckily it was hit sharp enough that the runners weren't able to get too far off the base pass. So the nice play on the line drive by Will Hunter for the second out. So there's now 2-1 with 2 out for Kevin Durant, who grounded out second to first. Hits it foul off to the right side out of play. Way wide for a ball. Hit to the right side. They throw it away. A little bit of confusion over who was going to cover. Two runs are going to score on the play. Durant winds up at second base. So Classical gets on the board. There was confusion over who was going to make the play. It was right at the second baseman. First baseman went over to field the ground ball. He tried to get back to the bag. Hunter, the pitcher, tried to get over to the bag. And the second baseman did the right thing. He threw it right to the bag. It missed and went in the dugout. Line foul by Lilia. I guess they figured that Buckland already had second base, giving him 2 bases on the error. I thought he would get 2 bases from where he was at the time of the pitch, but I guess they gave it to him at the time of the throw because they let him score as well. He was at first base. Masco didn't squawk at all, so... The right hand went up like it was going to call it a strike, and he looked, and what he did was he pointed to the base umpire and said, "Did he swing?" And they said no. So the fans thought it was a called strike. But they said he didn't complete the swing. Hits it long and deep and foul off to the left side. Lilia drew a walk his first trip. Well, Classical gets their first 2 hits, their first 2 runs. The runs come on the infield error. So all but 1 run in the game is unearned. Masco has 5, Classical has 2. Hit foul past first base. Took a long look at that one. It was down and away. And again, we have deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. 2 runs in for Classical here in the fourth inning. Waves at that pitch for strike three. So Classical gets on the board, but they still got a lot of work to do. We played 4 full here at Frazier Field in this interleague matchup. Masco 6, Lake Classical 2. First pitch in the 5th inning is in for a strike to David Hunter. He's been on base twice. He singled in a run and scored in the first and walked in the third. So he's 1 for 1 with a run scored and RBI. Hit high in the air to the right side. Buckland was looking for it. Now he makes the catch, and Hunter trips and falls over the bag at first. It looked like Buckland couldn't find it, and then he went over and made a little one-handed grab. Jack Horton, the third baseman, has reached on error and scored and lined to the shortstop into a double play. 2 double plays turned by Classical. We got Classical coming out. I just realized we have a new pitcher for Classical. So David Bernard is through. I believe it's Matt Gisono on the mound. And I think David Bernard went to first base. We'll wait to see if Deshaun is out or if he went someplace. In for a strike. So David Bernard went 4 1/3. Gave up 6 runs, only one of them was earned. 5 hits, walked 1, struck out 4, hit a couple, and got hurt by a couple of key errors in each of the innings that Masco scored. High and away for a ball, especially that 3-run 4th inning when there was 2 outs. The pop up to the infield was dropped, and with the runners running, they scored. And they wound up scoring 3 runs in the inning after 2 outs. All of their runs have come after 2 outs. Swung at that one. Looked like he was trying to check the swing and wound up swinging through it. And that's ball 4. So Hurton's on for the second time. Nice stop by Carrero on a pitch down and away. Alex Ennis singled in a run, pop to the first baseman. That's that pop to the second baseman, wound up in a foul territory with the first baseman catching the ball with the wind blowing it away. Way inside. Had to dance it away for that one. Down and away again. Back-to-back walks. Dash. Kavakarat. Squaring to bunt. Now, they picked him off at second base. He took off running like he was going to steal third, and then he ran back and they picked him off. Nice tag by DiFilippo. So the play goes 1-4 on the pickoff. So now there's 2 outs with a runner at first. Kravakaret has hit the ball hard twice. Line to the shortstop and line to the center fielder. Hit the shot. And that's a nice play at second. DiFilippo held on to the bag. Threw it a little bit wide, but he able to hold on to the bag to get the force at second. So the 2 walks don't hurt, although you don't want to make a habit of doing that. So we're moving the bottom half of the 5th. It'll be the top of the order for the Rams. As they trail it 6-2. Masco getting 3 in the top of the 1st after 2 outs. 3 in the top of the 4th after 2 outs. 5 of the 6 unearned. Glasgow got 2 in the bottom of the 4th, both of them unearned. And we're getting the season starting off with a bang. We'll have softball and baseball. Bounce in a couple of lacrosse games on channel 15 Comcast and 36 Verizon. Jared DiFilippo will lead it off. We still don't know what happened to Christian Burt. He walked in the bottom of the 1st, went to second on a strikeout to get away, and then DiFilippo went in to run for him as DiFilippo bounces out to first base. And then Burt didn't come back, so we hope he's okay. A.J. Luciano, the shortstop, struck out and got hit by a pitch. Good fastball for a strike. This is David Hunter starting his 5th inning of work. Slicing it foul off to the right side. That's going to wind up down that grassy knoll behind first base. Down and away. Costigan going way to his right. Picked that one off. And it kind of evens at 2. That one goes to the backstop. And we got a full count. That's ball 4. So every other inning, Hunter has walked a batter. That's his 3rd walk. Sean Devon was calling on strikes and bounced back to the pitcher. 0 for 2 against Hunter. Down and in for a ball. Chopped, foul. High chopper to third base, kicked out, foul. Took a little something off and caught the outside corner. And it's 1 and 2. Swing and a miss. Keeps his record intact. He struck out at least 1 in each of the 5 innings. David Bernard, who's now the first baseman. Fouls it back for strike 1. He struck out swinging, and he got the first hit for Classical and scored the first run in the bottom of the 4th inning. He's on the hook. It'll be a tough loss. Giving up 6 runs, 5 of them unearned. Slices foul off to the right side. way wide for a ball. The runner takes off. Strike 3 called. Two more strikeouts for Hunter. We're through 5 here, and those first and fourth 3-run innings are the difference for Mascomomet. They lead it 6-2 over Classical at the end of 5. 8-9-1 for Masco as we start the 6th inning. DeSono starts his first inning of work, first full inning of work. He came in relief for David Bernard. He walked 2 but got out of it with a pickoff and a force out. Amori's been on base twice. He reached an error, singled, and scored. In first strike. And that wind just won't quit. Way down the way. Nice job by Carrero to go get that one. And that's ball 4. Will Hunter grounded to third into a double play when the runner from second tried to go to third on the throw over to first. And then he singled and scored in first strike. That was that 2-out lightning again by Masco when they had 2 outs. They got back-to-back hits by 8 and 9. The pop-up in the infield was dropped and both of them scored. And then the base hit knocked in the third run. So instead of being out of the inning with no run scored, Masco got their second inning of 3 after 2 outs. Hit and run, perfect. Hit in the right field. The runner was off and running. They sent Amori on the pitch. Hunter perfectly placed it right where the second baseman would have been. The second baseman was going over to cover the bag on the steal. So Will Hunter has got his second hit. Runners at the corners. I'm assuming they'll send the runner from first down to second. They've been doing that all day. In for a strike, uncontested, so it won't be a stolen base, but he's down there at second with second and third. Two quick strikes on Jack Seymour, who was called on the strikes twice. His was the pop-up that was dropped that allowed 2 runs to score, and then he scored on a base hit in that 3-run fourth inning. Wide for a ball. So Gisono walked 2 in the 5th and got out of it. He walked the leadoff batter here, trying to get out of it. And he's not going to, because that's a base hit at the center field. 2 runs are going to score. And he winds up at second base on the throw. So the bottom of the order, 8 and 9, have scored 4 of the 8 runs. Hit to second base. T. Filippo will make the play. It's not a sacrifice, but it works the same. Seymour moves over to third. Masco looking for their third 3-run inning. In for a strike. Andrew Manny got hit by a pitch and scored. Last 2 times up, he struck out swinging. Both of those were against Bernard, facing Gisono for the first time. Hit straight up in the air. The shortstop, Luciano, chases Gisono out of the way. David Hunter singled in a run and scored, walked, fly to right. 1 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. Up and away for a ball. Line to left field for a base hit. One more 2-out Lightning. And they have their third 3-run inning. These are all legitimate. Most of the others were unearned. And that went off the catcher, and that hurt. Especially in this weather, it's going to hurt even more. Carrera was down, and they're going to have to come out and look at him. Let's hope he's going to be okay. They already had Burt leave the game for whatever reason. He puts the mask back on. Shukowski out to check on him. We're glad he's okay. Jack Hurton has reached an error and scored. Line to the shortstop into a double play and walked. So he's 0 for 2 with a run scored, but he's on base twice. And the one time they got him, he hit it right on the nose to the shortstop. Good pitch on the corner for a strike. Miss wide for a ball. Foul tip off the catcher's glove. Hit on the ground to second base. Filippo makes the play over to first. But it's another 3 spot on the board for Masco. So they said, Pasco, we'll see that 2 that you got and we'll raise you 1. And it's now 9-2. And these are the first that they got legally, if you will. 3 hits and a walk. We'll move into the bottom half of the 6th inning. It'll be 5, 6, and 7 for Glasgow. Just a miserable day to play baseball. It is just ice cold. And I don't envy Eastern Connecticut and Fisher, who are going to play later tonight after the sun goes down, where it's going to get even colder. Matt Gisono will be up for the first time. He came in to pitch in the 5th inning. He's a big strike zone. He's well over 6 feet. First 2 miss. Waves at the pitch, 2-1. Down and away for a ball. And that's ball 4. Fourth walk given up by Hunter. Pitt Buckland flied to center field and singled and scored one of the 2 runs. High and tight for a ball. Down and away for a ball. Busy for ball 3. That one's in. As you would expect, Buckland taking all the way. And it's 3-1. He'll still be very fussy here. It's got to be a pitch he can handle. And he handled it. He didn't get a right field. Gisono will stop at second. So a walk and a hit will put 2 on. Buckland has his second hit. And that brings the trip out to the mound. He's a Carrero. It's good to see him up. He was down on that pitch that fouled off and hit him. He's back up. He's grounded a short and lined out to the second baseman. He's hit the ball well both times, but it's come up empty. Missing wide for a ball. Foul back. Evens the count at 1. That one actually hit the bat. That was way inside. Carrero ducked out of the way, and it winds up being a foul ball. He bailed out because it was going to hit him. And when he ducked out of the way, Hunter was perfect. Threw it right on the bat. And it winds up a foul ball, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Hunter got a big break there. Swing and a miss for strike 3. That's a tough break for Carrero. But again, Hunter's got at least 1 in every inning. That's his 9th strikeout. Kevin Durant grounded a second twice. The second time the ball was thrown away at first base into the dugout, and the Classical got their 2 runs on the play. So he's 0 for 2. In for a strike, it's 1-1. Wide for a ball. Hunter's thrown a few pitches in this inning. In for a strike. Evens the count at 2. Wide for a ball off the catcher. Everybody will move up. They hesitated at first, so the pass ball will move them up. They weren't sure whether Costigan caught it or not. They finally realized it got away. So that takes off potential double play and force in the infield. Puts 2 runners in scoring position. Swing and a miss for strike 3. Daniel Lilios walked and struck out swinging. Had the Classical team ducking. The line shot into the dugout. That woke a couple of people up down there. That's why they always tell you pay attention. And he's a left-handed hitter too, going the other way. Hit to second base. Nice hop for Hunter. So they get 2 on with the walk and the single. The pass ball moves them up. But they're stranded at second and third. Classical's down to their last 3 outs. We played a total of 6 here at Frazier Field. Mascomomet on the front end of a 9-2 lead over Classical. Alex Zenas will lead off the 7th inning. Kyle Finnegan, one of the junior pitchers for Classical. In relief. So Gisona goes 2 innings, gives up 3 runs. They're all earned. 3 hits, walk 3. High for a ball. Up and away for a ball. In for a strike. And we got a full count. In for a strike. Good comeback by Finnegan. Zenas started to take off like it was ball 4. So Finnegan gets his first strikeout of the season. Up and away for a ball. Dash Kavakaret. Lined out short, lined to center, and hit into a force out, 6-4 force out. Hit in the air to center field. Durant, a few steps to his right, makes the play. 2 up, 2 down. Dan McNamara will pinch hit for Cody Amori. Amori was on base 3 times. He reached an error, singled and scored, walked and scored. So he was 1 for 2 with 2 runs scored. And I mentioned before that the bottom hitters, the 8 and 9 hitters, have scored 4 of the 9 runs. Swing and a miss. Up and in for a ball. Good pitch for a strike. And again, deuce is wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs here in the top of the 7th. Waves for strike 3. Good pitch by Finney. That's a good inning. Retires the side in order. 2 called strikeouts. And Classical is down to their last 3 outs. And we're going to get a new pitcher, I believe, for Mascomomet. Jack Seymour, I believe, is the new pitcher. So David Hunter goes 6. He gives up 2 runs that are unearned. 3 base hits. Walked 4. Struck out 10. Hit a batter. And Masco 3 outs away from starting the season 1-0. And a long time last year before Classical had their first loss. It's not, it looked like number 14. It's hard to read the numbers sometimes on the back of the jersey. It's actually the third baseman, Jack Horton, who's coming in to pitch. And the pitcher, Hunter, will go to third base. So they just flip-flop at third base. And Jared DiFilippo will be up for the 3rd time. He struck out and bounced to first. He got into the game when Christian Burt left the game in the 1st inning, and we still don't know why. And again, we hope he's okay. In for a strike, 2-1. Line to left field for a base hit. Now they throw it away. And scooting over to second is DiFilippo. Second error for Masco. So DiFilippo's got his first varsity hit. A.J. Luciano struck out, got hit by a pitch and walked. He's been on base 2 of the 3 times. He's 0 for 1. Facing Hurton for the first time. Hangs inside for a ball. Up and away for a ball. Drop to third. Long throw across the diamond. They don't get him, and it bounces by. That's an infield hit. They weren't going to get him anyway. He beat the throw. That was the toughest play for a third baseman to make, behind the bag in foul territory. Made the throw. Luciano beat it for an infield hit, and it got by the first baseman, and that allowed DiFilippo to come around and score. So the error brings the run. It's the third error. And all of Glasgow's runs have come on errors. They have a runner at first with nobody out for Sean Devon, who has struck out, bounced to the pitcher, and struck out. Once called, once swinging. So that was an infield hit behind the bag. Probably shouldn't have made the play. But when the throw was made, the runner took off from second, and when the ball got by the first baseman, he was able to score easily, DiFilippo. But a tough play by Hunter, the third baseman, having to go behind the bag in foul territory, the long throw. Luciano beat it easily for an infield hit. Base umpire said did not swing, so it's ball one on a pitch that was high. Sean Devon was an NEC All-Star hockey-wise this year with the Jets. In for a strike. Hurton trying to finish it off for Masco. Had a 9-2 lead. Now he's given up a run. Little lollipop changeup. Devon out in front of it a little bit, swung right through it. Costigan does a nice job bouncing out and getting that one out to the left. Count evens at 2. Missing wide, the count goes full. And that's ball 4. So Masco looking for 3 outs in the inning. They come hard to come by so far. David Bernard has struck out swinging, singled and scored. Called out on strikes his last time. He got the first hit and scored the first run for Glasgow in that 4th inning. He was the starting pitcher, and he's on the hook for the loss if Glasgow can't make a major comeback here. Missing inside for a ball. In for a strike. David's asking the umpire. He held up. He started to swing and held up thinking it was inside. And the umpire called it a strike. That was why he was questioning the umpire. They swing way around to left in the outfield. They give him a lot of room in right center field. And that's the second time in the game that a pitcher's been aimed right at the head of the Glasgow hitter, and the second time the ball's hit the bat. That was probably going to be a wild pitch. The runner's moving up. It was going to be 2-1. Instead, the runners are still at first and second, and the count is 1-2. You very seldom see that once. We've seen it twice. Down and away, and the count evens at 2. Again, jammed him inside. That was the same pitch a little bit earlier that David took and thought it was a ball. The umpire called it a strike. Now the count is full, 3-2. Behind first base, right field, a long run makes the play. Runner tags and goes to third. Nice running catch by Alex Zenas. He had to go a long way into foul territory, off the line for a right-handed hitter. So they get the first out. Aiden Dow will hit for Gisono. Actually, he's hitting for Finnegan, who came in to pitch for Gisono. So this will be the fourth player in this spot in the lineup. Hit foul past first base. Another part of that big Babe Ruth team that won the New Englands. He was a pitcher, hitter. Scored one of the winning runs in their big win. Slaps at it to second base. He'll get an RBI. So Dow gets his first varsity RBI. And they're down to their last out. High for a ball. Glasgow has 5 hits. Buckland has 2 of them. He flied to center his first time. He singled the last 2 and scored one of the 2 they had coming into this inning. Punched back to the pitcher, and this will do it. So Glasgow threatens. They get 2 more, but they come up short. They gave away a few too many. Mascomomet will win it 9-4. Masco got 3 in the first after 2 outs. A hit batsman, a stolen base, a little soft touch that rolled to second base, beat out for an infield hit. The runner scored. A pass ball, an error, and then a base hit. All with 2 outs, made it 3-0. They made it 6-0 in the fourth. Again, after 2 outs, back-to-back hits. Runners at second and third. An infield pop-up dropped. Scored 2. Extended the inning. A base hit by Costigan made it 6-0. Glasgow got 2 in the bottom of the fourth. David Barnard led with the first base hit for Glasgow. After an out, Buckland got a base hit. With 2 outs, Durant hit a ground ball to second base. It was thrown away into the dugout. 2 runs scored. It was 6-2. Masco got their third 3-run inning in the 6th. A walk, a single, a 2 RBI single by Seymour. And then Seymour scored an RBI single by Hunter. And it was 9-2. Glasgow wound up in the 7th inning. It was DiFilippo leading with a single by Luciano. DiFilippo went to second one on his base hit when it was thrown away. He went to third on the base hit. A walk to Devon after an error in the infield scored a run. Luciano tagged up on a fly ball by Bernard. He scored on a ground ball to the infield by Aiden Dow. Made it 9-4. And then the last out, the ground ball back to the mound, made it 9-4, the final score. For Classical, we hope Brent is okay. He walked his first time up and then was out of the game after that. Jared DiFilippo had a base hit and scored a run. Luciano was on base 3 times. A hit, batsman, a walk, and a single, scored a run. David Barnard had a base hit and scored a run. Dow had that infield ground out for an RBI. Brett Buckland had 2 base hits, scored a run. And that was the offense for Classical. As David Barnard, a hard luck loser. He gave up 6 runs, 5 of them unearned. Two straight innings, or 2 innings, the first and the fourth. Masco got 3 runs in each of the innings. All 5 of the 6 were unearned. And they got added another 3-run inning in the 6th. Classical got 2 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th, and that was it. As Masco wins it 9-4, they'll go to 1-0. Classical will drop to 0-1. We hope you enjoyed it. I'm John Hoffman saying we'll see you next time.